Hi everyone. In this video we're going to look at how to do working backwards with volume. If we're given a volume here and we're given some other information like the radius, can we find a missing measurement like the height of a cylinder? And we're definitely going to be able to do this, of course. So the cylinder formula we're going to use is one right here, which will always be given to you, and we're going to plug in what we're given. So V equals pi r squared h. We're given the volume, that's going to go in for V, and we're given the radius, so that's going to go in for r, and we're going to use that to find the missing piece here, which we don't know, which is the height. And that'll be just enough pieces because everything is accounted for except the missing thing. So the volume here we're going to plug in is 182.016 pi. We do definitely need that pi in there. It'll help us out later that there is a pi there. So then we'll have pi on the other side times our radius, 4.8 squared, times the height that we don't know. And we're just going to solve this equation. The nice thing about the volume being in terms of pi is that we avoid any approximated answers that would be irrational because you're multiplying by pi, which is an irrational number. And the nice thing is, if you see here on both sides, we can just divide by that pi, and it actually goes away on both sides, which makes our numbers a little bit easier to work with. So then we get just 182.016 equals 4.8 squared, which is easy to type in, 23.04 h. Then we're left with a one-step equation. Simply divide by 23.04 on both sides, and we'll get the value of the height. Just take the 182.016 divided by 23.04, and we get our height is 7.9. So 7.9, our units are centimeters, and that's how we can find the height if we're given the radius. Typically, that's the easier one to find if you're given the radius already. Trying to find the radius is a little bit trickier, which we're going to see in the next one. The radius of a cone. So now we're going to use the cone formula, which has the 1/3 in front, because a cone's volume is 1/3 of a cylinder's volume of the same height and radius. So what we're going to do here is we're going to plug in again what we're given. We're given the volume is 43.2 pi. We're given the height this time, and we actually don't have the radius. So that's going to leave it. We're going to leave that as r, and we're going to solve for that. So the volume here is 43.2 pi, and that equals the right side, 1/3 pi. We don't know what r is this time, times the height, 2.5. And now we're going to be careful here, and we're going to try and solve for r, which is definitely doable. First thing again, I see pi's on both sides, which is nice. We can just divide by pi on both sides to get rid of that. So we're left with 43.2 equals 1/3 of r squared times 2.5, not 25, 2.5. All right, so now what we want to do is, again, get r by itself. There's different ways you can do this here, different things you could do first. I'm going to get rid of the 1/3 first because just fractions can be kind of tricky to work with. So we could divide by 1/3 on both sides. That's a little bit tricky to type into a calculator. It can be done, but a little bit tricky to do. So I'm going to use instead the reciprocal. So 1/3, if I flip that, it would be 3/1. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/1 to cancel out that 1/3 using the reciprocal. So really I'm just multiplying by 3. So take 43.2 times 3, and that'll be what our left side is, 129.6 equals, and then I'm going to kind of rearrange things a little bit. I'm going to call this 2.5 r squared. The commutative property says a times b is b times a, so I can move these two pieces around and put the 2.5 first, like we're used to seeing. Now I'm going to divide by that coefficient of 2.5. To get, again, I'm trying to get r by itself. This will give us r squared, so we're almost there. So 129.6 divided by 2.5 gives us 51.84. And we're almost there. We've got one step left. To undo a square, we're going to use the square root. We're going to square root both sides here. I bet it'll be pretty close to 7 because 7 squared is 49. So I'm guessing we're around 7 here. So if I square root r squared, I'm going to get r. And if I square root my 51.84, we're going to get our answer, which, look at that, it's around 7. It's 7.2. So our radius here is 7.2 centimeters.